You've brought along what looks like the instrument panel from a Lancaster. Why have you got it?
Well, my father was with 625 Squadron during the war in Lincolnshire, and he flew Lancasters. And I bought this from a museum in Essex, who were closing down, really as a tribute to him. And I took it home and said to the wife, wouldn't it make a lovely headboard above the bed?
Are you kidding? I take it from the fact that it's here and not on your bed that your wife didn't necessarily agree.
She put her foot down and said, no, emphatically not.
Funny that. So he flew Lancasters?
He did.
Where did he fly? What happened to him?
He was shot down on his 14th mission, flying on a raid to Leipzig.
Right.
And we've got his logbook here as well.
This is the logbook?
This is the logbook, yeah. And on the 14th mission, all it says is, missing, nothing heard after takeoff.
And there we are, there's the entry. That's pretty final, isn't it, actually?
It is.
It really is. And you've got some photographs as well?
Yes, I have, yes. That's my father coming out the rear door of the plane, him in the cockpit. That's his crew, and unfortunately they were all killed on that raid. He was the only survivor.
Gosh. So how did he get out?
Well, the plane caught fire, and as the pilot, he tried to retain control of the aircraft, keeping it level so his crew could bail out. It then unfortunately flipped over on its back, and he fell through the perspex canopy above the pilot's seat. And his story goes that he was plummeting to ground, reached for his parachute, it wasn't there.
Oh my goodness.
He went through a searchlight beam and saw it was on a strap about 10 foot above him. So there he was reaching terminal velocity. He managed to pull it down, strap it on, and pull the D-ring at the last minute, landed in a plough field and just broke his shoulder. And I say just, he survived, in other words.
That's an astonishing story, actually.
Yeah.
How old was he then?
About 21, yeah, very young.
Very young.
So were a lot of them.
It's incredible that men of that so young an age should be in such a responsible position.
I think they looked upon it as a bit of an adventure. You know, it's the boy's own thing, in charge of an aircraft, 7 men in it and everything else.
Yes. And when did your father's aircraft crash?
It was in 1944, February in 1944, and he subsequently ended up in Stalag Luft 3.
The Great Escape?
That's the one, yes. He was there 6 weeks before it took place, and he remembers the build-up and the secrecy involved in setting it up. He was also there when they came in to announce that they'd all been shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you ever talk to your father when you were growing up about his time in the Second World War?
I did, but he was very reluctant to talk about it until the latter part of his life, where I made him write down his experiences, so we have that on record. I think he probably just felt a degree of guilt about the loss of his crew.
Really?
And I think that affected him throughout his life.
But let's just take a look at the instrument panel for a minute. It's incredible, isn't it? Look, all these individual instruments, the altimeter, the airspeed indicator, the artificial horizon, all of the instruments you need to fly this giant 4-engine bomber. What is puzzling me, and I'll tell you this is a big puzzle to me, is why the instruments are in this board, because every single instrument panel for a Lancaster I've ever seen is aluminium and with a black finish. It's been made very professionally, but nonetheless, I suspect it's probably never actually been in a Lancaster. Doesn't detract from the fact that it's a great object. So let's look at values. I think the value of the instrument panel, the value of the logbook, the documents. Have you got other documents too?
I have, yes.
Lots of other documents?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we'd be looking in terms of £3,000 to £4,000.
Really? Interesting. It's a family piece, so as everybody says, it won't leave the family, but thank you. That's very interesting.